Okay, here's going to be a quick math video. In reading, the only thing I was going to do was go over our vocabulary, and you'll notice as you go through, it's the same exact vocabulary that we started the week that we were going to get out for Christmas break, and then they said we were going to get out of school early, and so remember we cut off that week and we quit reading, and I told y'all we would continue that back this week. So when you go into Wonders, you'll click on, just like I do in the classroom, with the vocabulary for you to go over all of the vocabulary words, because you will have a test on them on Friday. And if you are one of my in-house kids, you already have your vocabulary words in your notebook, or excuse me, in your take-home folder. So this is what I was going to show you in math, where I told you guys before the break that we were going to switch and go into geometry. And so this right here is a point, and it's just any spot in space, period. And everything is going to have a number, not a number, a letter with it too. I mean, it could be any letter in the alphabet. Then we have a line, and you see that there's 2 points within that line, and they're just going to keep going in both directions, because that's what these arrows show us, that the line's going to continue on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And each point, like I said, will always have a letter with it. Usually it'll be A and B, or X and Y. Why, I don't know. And most of the time they will go in alphabetical order. So we have 3 different types of lines that we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk about intersecting lines first in the middle. Intersecting lines, they just cross at one single point. And so it may look different than this if it's intersecting. It just means that they're crossing each other. Parallel lines are these 2 lines right here. And parallel lines means those 2 lines right here will never, ever, ever cross each other. So if I keep going, and stretching those out, they will never, ever touch. Intersecting lines just cross at one point, and then perpendicular lines form a right angle. And if we look, it kind of makes a perfect L on each side. And a lot of times you may see a little box like this on the perpendicular line, which represents a right angle. So perpendicular lines cross and form a right angle. Intersecting lines just cross each other at a point, and then parallel lines will never ever cross. So if we look at this question right here, this would be a perpendicular line because they form at a 90-degree angle. This would be an intersecting line because they just cross each other at one point. And then this one right here couldn't be a parallel line because I don't have 2 sets of lines. This would just be a regular line, period. Now, if I look at this diagram here, I could see a bunch of different lines. If I go from A to B and C to D, those would be perpendicular lines because they form a right angle. If I go from C and D and F and G, those would be parallel lines because they will never, ever cross. Anything else, if I go from, let's say, A to B, and then this line line L, those would be intersecting lines, okay? So, this one right here is just a line. This one, just a point. This one, perpendicular, and this one, intersecting. So hopefully that will help you guys with your work, and I will have another video for you tomorrow.